Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the VTV podcast. My name is James, and we have some special guests today in the studio, and I will let them introduce themselves. Starting with you, sir.
My name is Deers Henyard. I go by Duke.
My name is Jennifer Banks.
My name is Lauren Carson.
Okay. Welcome to the studio. I appreciate you all for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I say that because the three of you represent a different age group, basically. And we have established this podcast in an effort to keep the city informed on things that are going on and around. And we need your perspectives on a couple of topics, okay? So, again, welcome. Glad to have you. I want to get right into it. We always start the show with a segment I like to call Glaciers, big boulders of ice, maybe in the room or at the table. And we'll just talk, briefly with a few questions. Number one, I want to ask each of you, basically, are you residents of Vicksburg at the moment, or did you reside here at some point? You moved away? We'll start with you, Ms. Carson.
Yes, I was born and raised in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Born and raised, and you still reside here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Ms. Banks?
I was born and raised here in Vicksburg.
Mm-hmm. You currently still live here?
Yes, sir.
Got it. And you, Mr. Henyard?
Born and raised, and I still here.
Okay, still here. Each of you are in school, right? College?
Correct.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sophomores and senior,
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay. So my senior, how much time would you say you spend in Vicksburg? I know you're in school. You may even be doing summer school, right?
No, I didn't do summer school this year, but I'm really here all the time. Unless I'm at school, I stay on campus. So during the school year, I'm at school. But all vacations, all holidays, and I'm at home.
Gotcha.
At the house, really.
Right. And you, Ms. Carson, you're here often?
Yes, sir. Same, like what he said.
Even during the school year, like on weekends, you're here?
Yes, it just depends on, unless it's something going on campus. Other than that, I just come home.
Okay. And you, Ms. Banks?
I'm the same.
Same. Okay. So with that being said, you're here often, right? And that's by choice. So there's something outside of family and a residence that attracts you here, or is it mainly just, your family's here, so when you're not at school, you're here, or are there other attractions that bring you back?
Well,
home?
I come home for my friends too, just to hang out.
Right.
Me personally, the only reason I do come home is for my family.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay, that's understood. Cool. So each one of you, again, you're in college. What school do you ladies attend?
Jackson State University.
Jackson State, JSU. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Tigers. Go Tigers. I know the mayor would be proud. He's got some interns that are going to the same school that he boasts about so much. It's like every time I see him, it's JSU. Tiger this, Tiger that. And you, Mr. Henyard, you're attending Tougaloo College. Okay, Tougaloo. What would you say would be an advantage over Tougaloo versus Jackson State, Mr. Henyard?
Advantage of Tougaloo over Jackson State, I say maybe because advantage might be because it's smaller. Everybody know everybody. We can link up more, get to know each other more with it being a smaller community.
Yeah. I think that will be an advantage because you have more cohesion in a smaller group. Possibly, in small settings, you can do more individualized things, whether it be peers or, your professors are closer to you.
It has its pros and cons, though.
That's true. What would be a con?
Space. With it being so small, it get overpopulated sometimes.
Right. I got you. Ladies, why did you choose JSU?
For me, for one, it was a HBCU, and then also I wanted to be closer to my mom. So.
And for me, like she said, it's an HBCU, and they have one of the best civil engineering programs. So
That's a slight flex. Okay. One of the best civil engineering programs. Okay. So you intend to be a civil engineer and come back to the city of Vicksburg and increase the knowledge and the base of support here as a civil engineer. You're probably going to work at ERDIC, making $100,000 a year. And then you'll also devote some time to the youth and teach them in a few STEM programs and whatnot.
yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. I like that. So, civil engineer, Ms. Carson, you're studying
Sociology.
sociology, and why is that?
Well, at first I started off with psychology, and when I started it, it wasn't really for me. And then I was looking like, okay, you're gonna be in school for a long time, and with sociology, it's like kind of like the same thing, but it's more that more you can do with that major. So, and my plan is to either work in human resources or social work.
Social work. Okay. If you were to go into social work, you would be dealing a lot with the community and issues that every household may have or every individual. Is that something that you have a passion for?
Yes, sir. I love to help people.
Okay.
So.
That's cool. Mr. Henyard, what you studying?
Economics with a focus in business administration.
Right. So you're going to come back and own several businesses in the
That's
city
the plan.
and buy up a lot of property.
That's the plan.
Give a lot of people some jobs and get to the bag every week.
That's the plan.
Okay. I got you. Yeah. So that's interesting. That is. I want to say to each one of you, congratulations for even, attending college. Some young people in our community, they don't see it as an option that will work for them. And for whatever reason, that's their choice. But me personally, I'm a college. I attended college. I went to Mississippi College and I studied psychology. I also attended JSU for a little while prior to MC, but I was more so focused in sports medicine and kinesiology and things of that nature. I know that college can prepare you for a career. It can prepare you for life, because you're in an environment where you have to deal with different people, different personalities, young people, adults, professors, people in authority, and then your peers. You have to learn how to deal with them and maneuver around them. So it's a preparation for the world, but it's also gearing you up, for the battle that you have to face in the workforce. So I commend each one of you on that, and I hope that you, continue with your success. I don't know what your grades look like, but I would just assume, that all of you are honor students, or close to that. Perfect attendance, always on time, always prompt to class, probably the first ones in the class, asking questions to your professors as soon as you get in. You're turning in your work early. I may be stretching it a little bit. That's cool though. But yeah, let's kind of change gears real quick and talk about your time as interns with the city, because I understand that each one of you had to apply for internship, and there was some sort of selection process, based on, I guess, the number of candidates. But Ms. Carson, if you can tell us, why you chose to join this program, the internship here with the City of Vicksburg.
Well, actually, I was applying for different places, and since Vicksburg being so small, it's not that many places that you can apply for, and they're also hiring college kids.
Right.
So, and I didn't want to work at fast food. So when I heard about the opportunity of working for the city hall, I just applied and hoped for the best. So
Yeah. Okay. And you work for what department?
the mayor's office, the administrative assistants.
Big dog. You in the big dog's office every day. Yeah. So you have, I would say, a different perspective on, how the engine works, I would say, because the mayor is really the primary person to kind of make the city move, with rules and regulations and policies and things of that nature. He's a real politician. We've had him on the show, and we spoke on several topics, some hot topics. But you have the opportunity to sit next to him every day. How does that feel?
It actually feels great. Seeing what goes on in the inside instead of looking in on the outside.
Right.
It's different.
It's different.
Because looking in on the outside, you're like, why we don't have this? Why, we can have so much more in Vicksburg, but when you're in the inside, you see what's actually going on. It's like a process. So, and it comes with money too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So you see some things from start to finish. Like just, on a whim, random thought, he may get a phone call about garbage pickup,
Trash.
And then you can see the wheels start moving from that point. That's cool. Okay. Ms. Banks, you are working in what department right now?
Human resources.
Human resources. Okay, so if you could speak on that briefly, your experience, what made you apply for this program, number one, and then, kind of talk about your experience with that department.
Okay. This summer, my original plan was to just have this summer to myself and not really, I guess, get myself prepared for next semester, next summer and stuff like that.
Right.
So I got a call from my mom and she was like, "Do you want to apply?" She was like, "Do you want to apply for the city? They're having a summer intern." And I was like, I guess, why not? So, yeah, that was kind of how I got to this point.
Yeah. He said, you guess, why not? Yeah. A lot of kids don't even consider it, as an option or something to do for the summer.
My dad picked up an application. He came up here to get the application.
Yeah, so he was kind of like the catalyst, too. Yeah. Your time with Human Resource, I would assume, has been beneficial as far as seeing how staffing goes, how some of the policies for the employees are created and upheld. So, who is your lead on that project?
I worked under Miss Lois and Miss Martin.
Okay. What can you say you learned about, being in that department and the ins and outs that you didn't possibly already know?
I mean, human resources is very important, and like I see people coming up here every day trying to get a job and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Okay. Cool. Mr. Hinyard, what department are you assigned to?
I'm in the community development department.
Okay. Is that one that you knew of prior to signing up?
I actually did, and I wanted to get the ins and the outs of how businesses were, what you had to do, what you had to have. Because one day I'm going to school for economics, and with a focus in business, that's my future. That's what I want to do.
Got you.
So I wanted to get more insight on what to do and what to have.
Got you. Did you sign up, or was Dad influential, kind of like Miss Carson here? Hey, I got some work for you. Okay.
I signed up.
So you took the initiative to seek it, find it, and apply.
I did.
Okay, cool. What have you benefited from being an intern here?
Knowledge. Knowledge. I learned a lot.
A lot of knowledge. What knowledge in particular? Like, be specific with that.
Like, it's certain places you can and can't have businesses, depending on what type of business you have. Like, you can't have a tow trucking business on Clay Street. That's considered a junkyard. I didn't know that. What else?
Yeah. Okay.
And then I found out you got to have privilege license. I just learned about those.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of people out here doing business in the city, and they're illegal.
Yeah, right.
Right. So if they get
I
caught,
wanted to learn how to do it the right way.
if they get caught,
Fines, jail time, who knows?
all types of situations.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah. That's important. That's good information. Especially if, like you said, you want to dig into that as a career.
Right.
As a way to make money, and as a way to be productive and creative in the community.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's cool. Would you all recommend internship to your peers?
Yes,
Definitely.
I will.
Really? That's
Especially
good.
if you have nothing to do during the summer.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting at home,
Yeah,
4 hours of your time won't hurt.
Yeah.
4 hours. It won't hurt. It really won't. Y'all hear that, right? Okay, cool.
Come on out, apply for an internship
Yeah,
with the city.
yeah.
Learn something.
That's a good
Learn
plug.
something
for the
new
city,
every
too. They ought to pay you for that plug. For real, you ought to get some bread. You should get a check for that. That's
Honestly,
cool.
though.
Yeah. I also kind of wanted to know, and it's not, my business as to how much, but it is a paid internship,
It is.
so you do get that check.
No.
Every 2 weeks.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a good thing, yeah. So yeah, to any of the peers out there that are in the same age group as these young folks, apply for that internship. Do something creative and constructive with your time in your summer. I think it's a good idea. I
I
really
think
do.
it's important.
Do something positive.
Right. What do you think can be done to attract the youth that are going to college, back to the city once they get that degree?
I feel like this is a great start. Internships with the city. I feel like that's a great start. Other than that, like I said, just events with the city and being hands-on.
So you can see what it has to offer.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. Because a lot of the jewels that we have are hidden.
And you don't really see from the outside. You don't see what's going on.
What's really going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
And if you don't really know people around, you ain't really gonna know about it. What's going on?
That's true. Because if you don't know anybody, you're probably at home, doing your own thing, or, traveling to another city, trying to see what's going on there. So I agree with that. I do. I asked that question because, I did speak with our mayor in regards to, retaining youth such as yourselves, because you have so much to offer. And I think that, vibrant, intelligent, we need more of that young energy in our city to move it forward. A lot of cities are more modern than ours. It's a lot more money flowing in different cities, and I think it's because of the youth that come in and they generate, a certain type of energy. They bring a certain level of intelligence, and if they plant themselves in that area for a while, that's when you get 30 to 40 years of someone just building something. So I'll say to the three of you, if it's even possible, even if it's just an idea, consider, Vicksburg, as an option for you after your career. Even if you live here but work somewhere else, I think that too will be a plus for our community, because we have people coming behind us. I have some young people coming behind me. You do too. And I think that we need to start a trend of people building and developing. I don't think we do that enough in our communities. But yeah, Vicksburg is, it's an option. I would say that to you.
It has its pros and its cons.
It does.
Yeah,
it does. If you had to pinpoint one particular thing that would attract the next set of interns per department, pinpoint something that you picked up on that would attract an intern to come in after viewing this interview.
I'm going to say the people, networking.
Okay.
There's some really nice people here, really good people with a lot of more knowledge than we have.
Right.
I would definitely agree with what Duke said, because the two ladies that I work with, Miss Tiffany and Miss Jackie, they have been like very helpful, and they have taught me things and showed me things, that I wouldn't think of, like, okay, this was going on in Vicksburg and all of this, because before I wasn't like a big news girl, wasn't big on like seeing what's going on in the area, but since I've been working here.
Mr. Henyard did mention, this being an opportunity to network, right? And the internship is a good start, for someone who's in college to see that Vicksburg does have something to offer for a college graduate. But I think that if there's, anything that any of you could say to, the youth that are coming up behind you to influence them to at least look at internship here as an option, it's an influential moment to start the conversation about, okay, well, we're going to go back home when we finish.
Make a change.
So Ms. Banks, if your input, if you could say anything, that would influence, someone coming up behind you to kind of consider, I do want to go and work for 4 hours a day as an intern with the Human Resource Department in Vicksburg, Mississippi, what's one thing that you would say?
One point that I would say, do it. I mean, come do it.
Somebody just hearing you say that would be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it then. I'm going to go do it because I heard Ms. Banks say it. Yeah, that's cool. So, again, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with the three of you briefly, in regards to anything Vicksburg. We do want to close out the session with one takeaway from each one of you. Anything that was mentioned in this segment, in this podcast, that you want the viewers to leave with?
I say whatever you put your mind to, just do it. It's going to be some setbacks, but continue moving forward. That's all I got to say.
I just want to say, ain't nobody perfect, but there's always time for a change.
Yeah. Come back, give back to the community.
Help it grow.
Yeah.
And we'll close out as we normally do with inviting our viewers to follow us, like, subscribe. This is the VTV podcast. You can see us on Facebook. You can see us on the VTV channel. And we're also posted on YouTube, Spotify. Like, subscribe.
And hit that notification button.
Tune in to the hottest podcast in Vicksburg.
Y'all tune in. Thank you for joining us.